Tomorrow I'm speaking at DevBreak, an in-person conference a bit south of Paris in an old castle. It's going to be amazing. So I'll take you on my trip there and show you everything that's cool about it. Let's go. I am in the car ready to rock. Our own car actually broke recently, mysteriously no less. And our insurance actually gave us this car as a rental for a couple of days to kind of bridge the gap of not having a car, which is really decent. So 7 hours to the conference, on we go. So I just parked just to have a little break. It's such a terrible place, I don't even want to eat my food here. So I'll just go back in the car and eat it there like a poor sod. Oh boy, it seems my fork has been submerged. Lovely. I wanted to talk about the fact that this is the first trip I'm taking that's a little bit longer than, let's say, 100 kilometers in 2 years. Right? Other than moving house, this is the first trip I'm taking to actually do something other than what is needed in life. And we've been super careful with Corona because my wife, she's in the risk group. So if she gets Corona, it's bad news. And so she was also one of the first people in France to get vaccinated, you know, with all the elderly people and people at risk. So that's great. But still, I'm going to a conference that is in person and I'm kind of worried, right? I brought like a lot of masks, I'm taking safety precautions, but still, I could never forgive myself if I get Corona and not get too sick, right? But then give it to my wife who would then go to the hospital. That would be terrible. So I'm being conscious, contemplating this stuff while I eat, but still wanting to go out and, you know, talk at a conference about my passion and my job. And, you know, life is a balance, so I better be careful. And yeah, let's just dig into some food and back on the road. So that was a pretty long drive, but you know, I'm feeling quite good. So I'll socialize a little with the other speakers. I saw that some of them already arrived. That's more private, so I won't put them on the vlog. That's not cool, unless they want to, of course. So I just arrived, and this is really nice. It's like a little cottage that you have for yourself, and then all the speakers actually have their own. And it's like on this really big land, and there's like a big mansion there that they did up and to actually make into like a hotel or gîtes, that's what they call it here in France. It's really cool. Pre-speakers dinner, this is just insane. Just woke up and I'm a little groggy. It's a bit of a short night, but what a speaker's dinner that was. Wow, I cannot open my eyes. I'm still asleep. My talk is at 3 today, so I have some time to wake up. Anyways, I was at the table with an astronaut, with someone who worked at the W3C for like 25 years, who came up with SVG. I spoke to the guy who created the VLC video player, which is like a player that's on like 90% of computers in the world, and he does it for free. Like, what a lineup. Wow, I can only say this was just ridiculous. I kind of need to wake up and look for coffee. Holy shit, this doesn't look half bad.
This famous image, known as Earthrise, is probably the most influential photograph ever taken.
You know, up for the upcoming talks we have this afternoon. We've got some exciting talks and also the party this evening. So,
Alright, so I'm on my way to my talk. It's in the tent right over there. And here it's really nice and breezy. But in the tent it's like 45 degrees or maybe like 90 something or 100 something freedom degrees if you're from the US. Anyways, getting ready. It's actually so hot. There are almost no people here. That's gonna be a very intimate affair with my talk. I'm on my way back from the conference and man, it was great. I had a really good time, and of course, because it was in person, I got to speak to people, well, at a distance of course. The conference did a great job with security about Corona. If you didn't have like your QR code for vaccination or test result, you were just refused flat out. And all the inside bits, people wore masks. That was awesome. And so I actually made some new friends because in person you can kind of mingle a bit more. It was really nice. And when I got started, you probably saw a bit before in the video, in the tent where I was speaking, it was like really hot, like 45 degrees or something. And so it started out with only like 5 people attending my talk, and those were the 5 people I met. Those were all speakers, and then the cameraman and the crew, and that's it. But luckily over time it's filled up and people really enjoyed the talk. And so I did have a good time during the talk. But then at one moment, the photographer lady came really close up and she started taking proper pictures of me because they're publicizing everything we talk about, right? But I felt like sweat drip while that happened. So those are gonna be some intense pictures of me. Anyways, I'm on the way back now. I just drove like 3 hours. I didn't sleep that much, but that's part of the game at conferences, I guess. I didn't drink much because I knew I would be destroyed in the car. I wanted to talk about what I spoke about at this conference, because in this vlog you probably don't really notice what that was about. And so I spoke about a modern way of building websites. And of course that's a really wide subject. And so I focused a little bit more on something called the digital experience platform, which is like basically every website is a platform with multiple things, right? You have a front end, you have a back end, you have a CMS, you have some marketing stuff, you have analytics, whatever. This is all part of this platform. And traditionally these platforms, they were built as like one big suite of one chunk of software on one big server, on big origin, that would actually build these websites. And so you can imagine if one piece of software does all these things that a website needs, most of those things are going to be mediocre except for 1 or 2. And so traditionally all the big websites have this system, and it's starting to hold them back. It's really hard to iterate over specific parts if they want to change them, or if they want to have one part much better, they have to like get another contract and go out of this big suite of software. It's just challenging. And so nowadays there's lots of companies that are much smaller in scope but really good at what they do. And new digital experience platforms that are coming out as we speak, they actually use all these services separately that are really good at what they do, and they choose exactly what they need. Because you might not need e-commerce if you just have a blog, right, or whatever. And so you just choose what you need. But that also comes with its complexities, because how do you orchestrate everything together? How do you make sure it works together and it's easy for both content editors and nerds like me or other developers to actually make all that work? And so that was what my talk was about, to how, where I work at Uniform, how we deal with this and how do we make it much better. And yeah, that was kind of fun. It sounds kind of dry when I say it like this, but the talk was actually well received. Of course, I put in a lot of memes, good stuff. Anyways, I just wanted to kind of go over what I spoke about, but it will be on YouTube, so you'll be able to see it. Anyways, I better drive on. Cheers.